The arrival of strawberries in June in the Northern Hemisphere is a clear sign indicating the arrival of summer. And this year's strawberry full moon coincides with the summer solstice, the longest day of the year in the Northern Hemisphere. The sun just ingressed into Cancer after a very busy month in Gemini. The first Capricorn full moon, yes, I said first, happens 1 degree, 6 minutes, the constellation Capricorn. So that's barely in Cancer season. But by the end of July 2024, you'll see just how these two moons have spotlighted how far we've come. The previous 4 weeks in Gemini for Gemini season put the spotlight of energy onto Mercury, our logical minds and our communication pattern. At the time, Mercury was first in Taurus and then in Gemini, symbolically helping us bridge the gap as Jupiter transitioned from the late degrees of Taurus after aligning with Uranus into the early degrees of Gemini, where it is now. With Jupiter there amplifying the energy, this created chaotically busy social schedules. This Capricorn full moon is special for several reasons. Most notably because it's the first of 2 back-to-back full moons in the sign of Capricorn in the summer of 2024. This means the second one, falling on July 21st, is a blue moon. Additionally, where that second full moon occurs, 29 degrees Capricorn, the very final degree of Capricorn, is precisely where Pluto is headed for one final blow to the U.S. economy, among other things, September to November 2024. But more on that to come. Mastering Capricorn energy means learning to be realistic about the amount of time and energy we invest into something without burning the candle at both ends and completely fizzling out. The first Capricorn full moon, 2024, occurs 1 degree, 6 minutes, Capricorn. Back-to-back full moons in the same sign is a big deal. It's essentially like the universe saying, pay attention, I don't want you to miss this. So the first full moon in the very early degrees of Capricorn indicates that the story is unfolding, while the latter full moon, at the final 29th anaretic critical degree of Capricorn, indicates that a massive collective transformation is unfolding, especially since from that position, Pluto would be working with the full moon by conjunction, sextile Neptune at the 29th critical anaretic degree, indicating a collective crisis, and trine Uranus immediately following Uranus's alignment with Mars on July 15th and 16th, 26 degrees Taurus, on fixed star Algol, the demon or death star. Because this full moon happens 1 degree, 6 minutes Capricorn, this means that we're just starting to access a new level of awareness that won't fully unfold until after the second full moon, July 21st, 29 degrees Capricorn. The time period between now and the second full moon will represent the completion of a personal transformation that took place from 2008 until present, when Pluto first entered the sign of Capricorn. That second full moon will be conjunct Pluto, with Pluto there intensifying the energy and bringing out underlying themes of deep personal transformation. Whenever we have a full moon in Capricorn, it will always answer to traditional ruling planet Saturn. Saturn rules Capricorn. Saturn is also the only planet to change its motion to station retrograde in the month of June, so we'll pay careful attention to Saturn all month and into July 2024. Saturn is Chronos, all about time, restriction, karma, rules, and regulations, isolation, structures, and boundaries. Saturn and Capricorn are about mastery, yes, but first and foremost, they're about mastery of the self. And as the South Node travels through, at the time of the first Capricorn full moon, 12 degrees, to by the time of the second full moon, 10 degrees, Libra, opposite the Aries North Node, which will travel from 12 to 0 degrees between now and January 2025, grounding down through our self-care and our self-discipline, Saturn, routines. Utilizing boundaries are going to become increasingly important, and this is while karmic interpersonal relationship patterns play out, helping us ultimately to shed patterns of codependency and people-pleasing, those toxic Libra traits that we don't want to bring with us moving forward. We'll also see highlighted the opposite of that. Unhealthy patterns like going it alone and hyper-independence that's really masking a deep fear of rejection and abandonment. The first Capricorn full moon, the focus of today's video, outside of a loose operative conjunction to its depositor, Neptune, 29 degrees at that critical crisis point, 29 degrees Pisces, Saturn is relatively unaspected, adding to an overall sense of isolation. Saturn is currently 19 degrees Pisces, which is where it will station retrograde on June 29th, 2024. And it's in, like we said, a loose operative conjunction within a 10-degree orb of its depositor, Neptune, while Neptune is strong in the very late degrees, 29 degrees of Pisces, one of the signs it rules. By the second Capricorn full moon on July 21st, Saturn will retrograde 19 degrees Pisces and will begin to pull away from this loose operative conjunction to Neptune, giving us just a taste of what's to come in 2025 and 2026 as the two planets travel together through the late degrees of Pisces and into the early degrees of Aries. This is about manifesting abundance by practicing gratitude, avoiding reviewing the past, as there can be some nostalgic traps, and instead focusing on looking toward the future and our long-term goals. Cancer is a cardinal water sign that initiates with its outstanding empathy and compassion, which is in stark contrast to Capricorn's energy, a cardinal earth sign known for its stoicism and work ethic. So we have a concentration of energy aligned in the first decan of Cancer, which is both ruled and sub-ruled by the moon. That would be the Sun, Venus, and Mercury. So an alignment of the Sun, our collective soul mission, the spotlight of energy for the upcoming next couple weeks. Cancer, our minds, our logical minds and communication, also in the sign of Cancer, and Venus, what we love and value, also in alignment. Answering to the moon bestows a deep sensitivity and receptivity. However, we have to look at the moon's position. So in the case of the Capricorn full moon, we have the moon opposite the sun in the sky. That's how it's able to fully illuminate the light of the sun back to us from that position, opposite 180 degrees. This is where the moon is said to be debilitated or weakened, because it would be opposite where it would be in rulership or domicile in the sign of Cancer. The moon in the first decan of Capricorn is both ruled and sub-ruled by Saturn, emphasizing responsibility and accountability, and illuminating what's known as the Cancer-Capricorn axis of opposition. There are themes of career versus ambition pitted against our home and family life, the classic work-life balance dynamic. We're driven by our ambition, but perhaps we're finding a need to focus more of our time and energy on the home and family. We're learning to balance emotional security with practical and tangible security, material security. Moon in Capricorn is precise, orderly, determined, methodical, organized. But Moon in Capricorn also struggles with darker emotions, cynicism, pessimism, and above all else, it struggles to reveal its deeper, truer emotions. Moon in Capricorn, very similar to Moon in Virgo, can be solitary and self-sufficient, which can present as avoidant or workaholic tendencies. Above all else, these two Capricorn full moons, we are overcoming our own inner emotional complexities. We may be needing a break or a vacation after a very busy and chaotic Gemini season, especially with this first Capricorn full moon in a sextile to Mars in Taurus. This is big homebody energy. Two full moons ruled by Saturn indicates a need for better boundaries, a need to see self-discipline as self-love, and a need to shed layers of victim consciousness on the path to self-empowerment. Many of us are facing addictions head-on. With any Capricorn full moon, watch for issues with teeth, bones, knees, hips, joints, arthritis, and remember that full moons serve to highlight what isn't working. That's so that we can clear it out of the way and make room, make space for what is meant for us. Some more notes on the Capricorn moon. Capricorn moon and moon placements aspecting Saturn, so conjunct or opposite Saturn, square Saturn even, is a strong placement for having to rationalize through difficult times, to climb, overcome, and persevere. Depending on the person and the chart, this can make one ruthless in their pursuit. They would not be afraid to step over anyone in their climb to the top. More than any other sign, Capricorn moon has trouble accessing its deeper emotions to express it and share it with those that it's closest with, and they may experience severe trust issues. Full moons mark the midway point in a lunar cycle, the seeds for which were planted 6 months prior during the corresponding new moon. I'm talking about the corresponding new moon in Capricorn on January 11th, 2024. I'll link the video here if you'd like to catch up. When the moon is full, she forms a 180-degree angle from the sun, creating what's called an opposition, which is connected with polarization and a dynamic back and forth pulling sensation.